This video has been censored for viewership on YouTube. It has also likely been age restricted due to commentary on pornographic material. If you wish to see the video in its intended form, check the Google Drive link in the description. Donating to my Ko-Fi or recently made Patreon for just $1 a month will help pay for storage space, as well as just generally keep me motivated to create more stuff. All videos are publicly available to non-members, but any support is appreciated. So I'm sitting here, right? Pawn center, pieces developed, castled, and I'm just wondering, how do I get my nut in this position? Unless you're a degenerate sex addict like me, you probably wouldn't think sex and chess go together all that well, but there's something about watching those pale, oblong pieces slowly and methodically navigate that stolid bicolored grid that either calls to mind the horrific violence of open field medieval warfare or makes a person paralyzingly, unspeakably horny. So I love sex. I've even half-jokingly called myself an addict, even in this very video, but I also love thinking about sex as a human experience. A film like Poor Things, for instance, with themes of women's autonomy, the intersection of sex work and capitalism, and the nature of power and abuse in relationships, was tailor-made for me. I think sex has the potential to be one of the most beautiful aspects of the human experience, even if it's not monogamous or in the sanctity of marriage or whatever. All it takes is consent and mutual respect before, during, and after for the human in front of you. So I love sexual art, stuff that's pornographic, sure, but also stuff that explores the human body and the dynamics of sex and aims to make something meaningful that both highlights the beauty of sex and also discusses the horrors humans inflict upon one another for selfish sexual gratification. I think there's a place for both in helping bring understanding about this deeply human activity. So I think there's space to admire, talk about, and learn from sex games that are out there. They tend to be kind of shit, not gonna lie, but I'm hoping by talking about more of them, shedding light on what I think are strengths and weaknesses of the genre, there might come a day where better, more artful sex games aren't such a rarity. I'm talking deep characters, moving scenarios, captivating graphics, and game mechanics that strive to be unique, meaningful, cohesive, and interesting. But let's be honest, most of them are boring visual novels or shitty match 3 games or borderline asset flip shovelware you'd find on the early days of Steam Greenlight. So here we go. I was first introduced to Love Chess a long time ago on a shitty laptop that definitely wasn't made for gaming. That's how dedicated I was to my perversions. I'm not sure how I came across it or if I sought it out, but the idea immediately stuck with me. Sex, which I liked, and chess, which, well, to be honest, I didn't grow up playing chess. I only really started learning it in the last few years, and I'm still not that good. Where does the knight have to escape to? The knight has a couple of escape squares. It's not trapped yet. Let's offer a trade. Do I want to open up this file, though? Oh, no, that's not a queen trade. Holy shit. I forgot about the knight. Haha. Holy shit. Holy shit. I did not see the knight there. Knight there to attack the rook and the pawn? What are you, insane? I could always run it all the way back. Oh, what a fork. What a bastard. I do knight takes, then rook takes rook, which is a problem. I think I have to go here. Like, I don't have a choice. Knight there, forking the rooks. Whoa, dude. Like, actually, what? I don't really study chess. I'm at the phase where I know enough for it to be fun and challenging and frustrating, but I don't want to, like, dedicate my life to it any more than I already have, and that's fine, I think. But I am a horny demon and always have been, and growing up going to Catholic school with an extremely religious mother and not being very lucky with ladies meant suppressing many aspects of my sexuality that felt wrong and unexplorable. So I find Love Chess, developed by now defunct studio Artmunk Games, and these guys were passionate about virtual sex. This is a time where open sexual expression was especially shamed, so it's hard to find any info about the studio or the creators behind it, but Artmunk published 4 games that I know of: Love Chess Age of Egypt, Love Chess The Greek Era, Love Chess Salvage, and The Velvet Express. Yes, 3 of the games are chess related. The 3 Love Chess games are all essentially the same aside from some control and aesthetic differences. Just a simple mistake and it's a blunder. Pawn takes, same animation. I think it might be the same thing where depending on what piece takes what piece, you get a certain animation, but I don't think it matters if it's black or white initiating it. 2 sides, men on one, women on the other. In the Greek era, the kings and queens are both still men and women respectively, regardless of side. The essential premise is that you play a long, grueling game of chess, and every time a piece is captured, a short sexual animation plays depending on the type of pieces being captured and doing the capturing. And that's pretty much it. Love Chess, the Greek era, is the earliest in the series, and you can feel it, as it lacks even WASD controls. Though, funnily enough, I like the Greek era's aesthetics the most. Something about the stylization of these characters as statues creates distance from their performance as sexualized people, curtailing some of the game's verisimilitude. But in doing so, it sort of leaves more to the imagination, allowing the player's own mind to fill in the blanks and fulfill its own fantasies, which for me makes the experience that much more alluring. This one, the queen's just like teasing the satyr. I would love to see an RPG with a satyr character like that, with these same kind of sex scenes. That satyr is going deep. Holy shit. It's got an angle in it too. I'd like to imagine the satyrs are just particularly horny all the time. And fucking a satyr in this universe is seen as like a rite of passage. It's like not something that everyone gets to, despite how horny they are, it's not something everyone gets to do, but it is considered like an honor, like you've really evolved sexually. This cowgirl animation, as simple as it is, with no voice work to boot, is so sexy in its sheer base sketching of the human form. It's a facsimile, mere shapes and angles gesturing at real sex, but even to this day, there's something captivating about its simplistic, wishful motioning to the real thing. The Greek era also has the most interesting character designs of the 3, in my opinion. Ignoring the statue aesthetic, I like the youthful green recruit pawn designs. The bishops are satyrs. The Black Queen as well is Medusa. Age of Egypt is the next game following the Greek era, and it is what it says on the tin. It's the same game again, but with an Egyptian coat of paint. The aesthetic is now truer to reality, and I don't like it as much. The animations are just as old and stiff because, of course, and this is when the novelty of this kind of experience starts to wear off. Like, at the end of the day, you're just playing chess. Chess is a slow, grueling, very often frustrating thought and puzzle game. Sex is nice, I like sex quite a bit, but it ultimately becomes a distraction from the main gameplay experience. I think I want to go here. We've seen this one before. It's my favorite one, but we can just take... Oh no, it just takes my other pawn. Like as if I haven't lost enough, you know? As if I needed to lose anymore. I could push this pawn here. Pawn takes, pawn takes, pawn takes, rook takes. I don't know. Sure. Who cares? See, and it's the same problem with sex chess, is that the sex itself just feels so incidental, you know? After a while, because the animations are so repetitive, it just gets in the way of the actual game. I'm not playing another game after this. I'm so done with this. I have played far too much chess in one day. I'm done with this. I'm so done with this. I'm sorry. I'm done. I don't want to play anymore. Chess is really, really hard, and these games' chess engines don't go easy, even on easy mode. So you'd think the sex should be a reward for playing particularly brilliant moves or for successfully checkmating, but there's none of that. It's just a piece gets captured, that piece gets fucked. A simple, repetitive animation for a few seconds, then back to the grind. If I go bishop takes pawn, pawn takes pawn, rook takes pawn, knight takes rook, doesn't do anything. This is so exhausting. There aren't even special animations for pulling off unique moves like castling or promotion or en passant. It can feel so static and unmoving and ultimately unrewarding when you finally do win and there isn't some big sexual celebration, no huge orgy with all the remaining pieces or something. White wins. And that's it. No scene, no anything. That's it. That's all there is to it. Alright, let's leave the game. The thing about chess engines too is that they're so frustrating to play against compared to a human. Chess engines, in my experience, tend to play perfectly and robotically, but on lower levels will occasionally blunder a piece in such an obvious way that it doesn't feel like an earned advantage. And because of this, there's something about playing these games that feels cold and mechanical, lacking real personality or motivators to engage with the core mechanics of chess outside of like the pull of the game itself. I could also double my rooks. Go here, double them. Feels right. Oh, pawn takes. Oh, that's a problem. Uh-oh, I'm just realizing the problem there. It worked when my rook was back. Wow, this game is so cutthroat. This is easy mode. This is easy mode. I make a blunder, push my rook there, and now that's just a free pawn. Oh, that's awful. How did... Wow. Knight there, check. Attacks the pawn and the... Wow. Yeah, this is mean. This is just mean. Gets my pawn. Yeah. This is just mean. I don't know. I don't like this. This game is mean. This is level 3, by the way. Level 3. And now the knight is trapped. It's not trapped. It's not trapped. It's just not in a great position. Oh, wait, the pawn is... Ugh, that's bullshit, dude. Are you serious? This is nothing. Really? I swear to God, playing against a chess engine. It doesn't matter if it's easy mode or hard mode. They will make every perfect move, and then occasionally they blunder on purpose. I have, if I move my knight, my pawn gets taken. This is why I don't like playing these games. Unless your engine is like dumb enough to feel competent, but like not win all the time. I don't like playing against chess engines. They're just frustrating. It's not like playing against a human opponent. Takes the pawn. Oh, he doesn't take the pawn. He does that instead because he's a fucking bastard. Wow. When I was younger, this game didn't motivate me to get better. I was happy when my pieces got taken and apathetic when I'd lose because there's no real point in winning. Just blunder every move, enjoy the short scenes you get, then close the game and be done with it. Even now, without the undo button, I'd never finish a round in any of these games. And then what? Where's the mate? Oh, this is mate. Duh. Oh, that's... Oh, it's over. I was like, what the hell? He's just teleporting? See, I never would be able to beat these games when I was younger, and I would always have to use undo mode to undo my last move, and I thought that like because I use undo, that's the reason why I never got like the secret orgy scene or whatever. But no, there just isn't one. There just isn't one. You just win and then that's it. Yeah, that's all you get, which is like fine, I guess. Love Chess Salvage and The Velvet Express are the most recent games, and the graphics and overall production quality show it. Like, okay, we got some guns over here. Look at these guns, these rifles, scopes and everything. But the scopes are just flat textures. What? The scopes are just flat images. They don't even have the backgrounds taken off. Neither do the triggers. What? What is happening here? These games take a pseudo-Victorian, post-apocalyptic aesthetic. There are gas masks and weird hairdos, and I don't know, it's just not all that appealing to me. I don't like gas masks, I don't like straps, I don't like heels, and with all the dated graphics, none of it is particularly alluring. And this is coming from a guy who said the statue turned him on earlier. But that's the thing, the more these early games strive for verisimilitude, the less arousing they feel for me. These games also try to spice up the sex scenes with a passion meter where pressing a mouse key in a so-called rhythm can drive the characters to orgasm, but it's still just the same shit, and you can mash the button and get the same result. Oh, if you don't do it for a while, the thing goes away. It's not really even a mechanic. It's like just like a QuickTime event, sort of. Also, I don't know if a lot of developers even to this day realize this, but when you're making some sort of sex mechanic, you don't want there to be so many controls. You don't want it to be so involved because the player should have their hands free, right? If there's a quick time event or something that you need to input, it makes it hard to enjoy the scene. You know, I haven't made one of these myself, but for the concepts I have, I've wanted to make a turn-based battle system so that you can kind of sit back and let the scene play out while you're thinking about what to do next. And there would also be other unlockable scenes that you would get as rewards that don't require any input whatsoever. Salvage includes these like pseudo-orgy BDSM scenes, but it's not like the characters are really interacting with one another. It's more like they're just being used as furniture, and the position is otherwise not terribly remarkable. The Velvet Express at least cuts the chess prerequisite and allows you to run through sex partners and positions without the stress of thinking of a good move, but it still lacks oomph. I thought this was Kingdom Hearts music. I thought this was Dearly Beloved. Okay, what is this? Okay, there's all those. What are these ones with the little mask at the bottom? Oh, it's with a sex doll? There's a woman right there. I don't know. Huh? She doesn't even look like she's having fun. She's just like, yeah, another day. I've got plenty of storage space and recording technology. His ass looks so weird. That is really old man ass right there. No offense to anyone who has old man ass. She's just cuddling him, giving him a bit of a massage. I can't see what they're doing though. That's so annoying. How do I change the camera? Is there any button to change the camera? No sound for this one. So I'm imagining this game is unfinished, but also that this is just it. It's probably not that much more to it. Okay, they're having fun over here. Can I move the camera to see? Of course not. Oh, is this all there is to the game? Oh, I'm stuck. The camera's stuck. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's, I guess we could do... Oh, okay, that's how we leave it. Okay. Did she have a good time? I don't know. Can I do you? This is it? Like, I just have to go through and find which position I want the most? This is definitely... This is just Namine's theme. Now, we have to play Namine's theme real quick. Maybe it's not Namine's theme. Is it Kairi's theme? It's Kairi's theme. Holy shit. I mean, I was kind of right. Kairi and Namine are like, you know, whatever the fucking lore of Kingdom Hearts is to each other. So I was like kind of right. I wasn't 100% wrong. All right, I just went down a rabbit hole of trying to figure out when the Velvet Express was published, which it seems like 2008. Creators of Love Chess just released their latest product, the Velvet Express. Velvet Express is a highly interactive virtual sex simulator situated in the 30s of the past century. So this is what the argument I was just reading on a forum was about. They were saying like the past century, this is 21st century right now, when the early 2000s, for the past century would be the 1900s or the 20th century. And they were like, well, trains don't look like this. It's obviously a fucking steampunk, whatever the fuck game. It doesn't matter. It's just a sex simulator. Holy shit, this page is so hard to navigate. When was this published? Released the Velvet Express PC game. Okay, September 16th, 2008. This says October 10th, 2008. This is when it was updated. So I'm guessing it came out earlier, September. This released in 2006, so that checks. Okay, so let's say September 19th. What was it, December 16th? September 16th, 2008. March 28th, 2002. That's insane. What is this? It was released on March 9th, 2017 in Japan? What? No, it wasn't. Okay, it's talking about the remix collection. The fuck? Yo, the internet is cooked, man. The internet's so cooked. That's my preview. My information preview is that Kingdom Hearts video game. It was released on March 9, 2017 in Japan. That's not even an AI overview, by the way. That's just the Google summary from the Wikipedia page, and it's just wrong. Okay, 2002. is when it was released. And this came out in 2008. And so I think we can only conclude that Artmunk completely stole Kairi's theme. Artmunk completely stole Kairi's theme from Square Enix. So I'm expecting a lawsuit soon, expecting litigation, and this is going to go all the way to the Supreme Court, honestly, in the United States. I know that the Netherlands and Japan are not the United States, but, you know, Trump could annex anything, apparently. You know, we don't know what's coming up. You don't know what's going to happen. So get ready for that lawsuit. It's going to determine music law for the rest of time, for the rest of human civilization. The rabbit hole goes deeper, and I am firmly invested in investigating this. First of all, $32 for one stock music track. So I Shazammed that track that was in The Velvet Express because I wanted to see if Yoko Shimomura produced that melody first, or if it was like maybe a proprietary composer for Velvet Express who created it first. It looks like it's coming from this collection, Music Piano Reflections. I don't think this is a case of copying. I think it's just a case of parallel thinking, but we're going to do some more investigation here. This is also in 3. 1, 2, 3. This is also in 3. It feels so similar. 1, 2, 3. This is in 4. It feels like they do the same modulation, don't they? The modulation itself could just be, you know, the way pianists do arrangements. There's a lot of modulation in piano work. It doesn't say not $100. That's insane for 10 tracks. Like, I get that you're not just buying the music, you're also buying the rights to use the music and profit off of them, which is cool. I get paying more for that, but I just $100, like, because I'm trying to justify it from my perspective. I just want to buy it to listen to it. What? Thermal conduct? What? How is this even relevant? I'm getting medical writing, Blue Heron review featured author, something from SUNY, like not even a paper, just about SUNY's graduates. Winter 2011 Deerfield Mag. I don't understand what's happening right now. I'm just trying to see when it was released. Okay, release date February 12th, 2010. Well after, okay? Well after Kingdom Hearts 1. I mean, as far as I can tell, Yoko Shimomura came up with that phrase. Hold on. How can the game have come out before the song was released? So I need to figure out, this isn't correct. I think the last piece of the mystery is just figuring out when this album came out. Press release August 2008. Okay, so the press release says the game came out in August of 2008. Okay, I mean, I don't feel like playing the game again to see the thrusting animations, TBH, but we know that the game came out in 2008. So, this is wrong. I am so mad that I cannot find out when this track was released. I am so mad. Like, this is pissing me the fuck off. Oh, we found it. We found it. But for some reason, it's not here. I have to go to Inspect Element. Here we go. That's our answer. Music release date, December 19th, 2006. Okay, that's a date that works. That's a date that makes sense. Conspiracy over. This random track by this random composer was more than likely influenced, not saying copied, but more than likely influenced by Yoko Shimomura's Kairi's theme from Kingdom Hearts 1. Case closed. I'm willing to put that one in the books. Evil Boobs Cult, that's really hard to say, is a Russian indie developer on Steam, and they debuted with their first game, Sex with the Devil. Sex with the Devil is well, I don't like this game, especially after replaying it for this video. It's honestly just a shitty, boring puzzle adventure game, but the graphics for an indie game were really great. I had just finished playing Lust for Darkness and Lust from Beyond, and I was amazed that such a low-budget game could look so good by comparison. The only other indie hentai games, I say as if all hentai games aren't indie, that I'd seen with such good graphics were Orc Massage, which is still in early access, Operation Lovecraft, which is probably never coming out, and Subverse, which saw a 1.0 release fairly recently. Oh, and I guess Rise of Eros, which is probably not indie, but we will be talking about that one in another video. Sex with the Devil focuses on sexual body horror, occasionally straying a bit too far into the grotesque as opposed to the erotic. It follows some guy, a gigantic shit stain of a human being, who jacked off too hard on Chatterbait and was banished to hell for his depravity. It tries to be simultaneously comedic and philosophical. The guy attempts some hyper-flexible self-suck position and then dies, so he has to complete some mazes with simple traps in order to escape the devil's snare. Along these mazes, you'll find doors leading to fairly involved sex scenes with some kind of creature. Some of these are nice, focusing more on pornographic pleasure, seemingly with consent and mutuality, even if it uses body horror as a backdrop. But again, some of these are just gross for the sake of being gross. I replayed Sex with the Devil for this video, and look, I don't like censorship as a general principle when it's forced onto people, especially if, say, a government agency is kidnapping people off the street for criticizing a US ally that's currently bombing children and entire families out of existence. But anyway, there are times when, as a creator, you have to make artistic choices for the betterment of the work, or humanity, or whatever. For instance, I won't be showing how excessively the game indulges in rape with no narrative or plot purpose, like the time you rape an eyeball monster, or the time you rape a zombie, or the time you rape a chicken, or the time you rape a human centipede lady. I also won't be showing how seemingly none of the normal, consensual sex scenes are nearly as long or as involved as the one that has you fingering and fisting a centaur's ass. You know, the horse part. Having played this developer's later games, look, I don't want to psychoanalyze, but it feels like there are some personal demons at play here. These games revel in their ugliness, rape, and gratuitous violence to the point where it's just really icky to play. It's clear that there's no message behind it, but that you're supposed to be getting off on the baseness and filth of it all. There's no profound story about abuse and indulgence being told, no moving sequences expressing humanity and character development.
Nothing evil? Of course, there was that time you raped your colleague, your best friend's wife, at her birthday party. Yes, clearly, no big deal. Oh, you really forgot how fragile the human memory can be? Or, to be more precise, how selective. Even after death, being in hell, you don't see the sins of your past. Ironic, don't you think? Well, I may have been checking to see if your claim about memory loss is true, and I will answer your question. Physically, no, you did not rape anyone, but morally, yes.
A lot of it is dressed in the trappings of quote-unquote satire and post-irony, in the sense that you can't tell what's a joke or commentary and what's just the intention or desire of the writer. The mazes themselves are incredibly bland, there's just not much game here. You're wandering through the dark, waiting for shitty one-hit kill traps to give you space to progress. You have to find a key, which aside from a faint blue glow, gives you no real indicator of where it might be. There are these annoying philosophical treatises, maybe from some historical writing, I don't know, but I doubt it, littered around the mazes as if they add any real value to the so-called narrative or experience. The writing overall is super pretentious, long-winded, and leads nowhere meaningful. The unlikable main character from the beginning isn't even really the same person we end up playing as, and the devil will just go on and on, far exceeding his dialogue box about boring pseudo-philosophical bullshit. It just reeks of ego and masturbatory self-indulgence.
People always divide everything into whites and blacks, lights and darks, good and evil, heaven and hell, God and thinking. Now tell me, what is it like for you in hell? Yes, I mean the place you were when you were still alive. Surprised by the question? Well, yes, because hell is supposed to be here. But is it really hell? We are having quite a nice, quiet chat right now.
But at the time, I thought with the right direction, some more imagination, less emphasis on the grotesque, but this same level of animation talent, we might get something good from this developer in the future. Their next game was Sex Chess, but before we get to that, I need to vent about their latest game, Sex Please. Following the release of Sex Chess, the developer mentioned on Steam that the previous team left him. I don't know the circumstances behind this, and honestly, I don't care to investigate, but in my personal headcanon, the reason for this split is a distinct shift in artistic direction following Sex Chess. Sex Please pretty much gives up on trying to be arousing or stimulating in any enriching way, and instead delves into this almost psychedelic fever dream of depravity and lol so random self-indulgence that it actually pisses me off. This isn't BDSM or even taboo shit, it's outright violence, abuse, and base sociopathic madness. The writing is awful, the pacing is awful, the characters are awful, even the animation is kinda bad this time around, and what's worst about it is that it clearly thinks it is just so fucking clever.
Yeah, Doc, definitely. Dick tastes salty, like a small fish, and this is minty shit. I'm sorry, Doc, for shitting on you so powerfully.
It feels like on a foundational level, this game has so little respect for the player, or sex, or video games, or art as a whole. It doesn't feel like it's trying to say anything. It really feels like it was just made to satisfy the fetishistic whimsies of its creator and deliberately trigger the player with grotesque nonsense to get one over on them as some kind of unintelligible inside joke.
That you again. Faggy boy? Damn. You're fucking ugly. Hey fag. Show us how you beat your meat. All you childhood you ate beans and peas, so your ass farted like crazy, and stank like shit.
It takes a lot to gross me out, like truly. I've seen and been through some shit growing up, but this game is not only weird and disgusting, it's annoying. Like after the second instance, and there are 4 in total, where the player character breaks into song with the same shitty joke, I felt thoroughly disrespected by this experience. I don't even want to show footage of this game. It just straight up doesn't deserve the small amount of promotion it would get from a video like this. So a lot of this will be censored or will be footage from other better games. If Sex with the Devil indulges in violence and rape, this game lavishes in it, bathing in its narcissistic fantasy and glorifying sexual violence, especially against women. It even has some really weird themes of parental neglect and pedophilia that it doesn't address with any sense of tact or sensitivity.
She used to wash your ass until you were 12, didn't she? Did you enjoy when soap in her hand touched your lil pee-pee, fucker?
Almost every vaguely woman-shaped thing in this game is either an inanimate object or gets brutalized and murdered during or after sex in some gratuitously graphic way. There's a part where a furry shows up with assets that look like they were ported from a completely different game. It's extremely uncanny. And first you beat it up, then fuck it, then rape it, then it disembowels itself and dies. I mean, I was hoping I misremembered this, but at the end of the game, and mercifully it's less than an hour and a half long, there's an incredibly long and graphic sequence of the most edgy, early internet era gratuitous sexual violence you can imagine. I'm talking shattering a glass jar with a dead rat inside and then sitting on it and pulling out the shards. I'm talking a minutes-long rampage of murdering your grandmother, stripping off her clothes, cutting off her breast, eating it, then raping her corpse, all before breaking into song. And I'm even skipping over a few details, if you can imagine. Disgusting doesn't even begin to describe it. The horror sequences are bland, derivative, and uninteresting, filled with the laziest, most impotent jump scares imaginable. It tries to do something interesting using masturbation as a mechanic to neutralize enemies and solve puzzles, and it's something that might be cool in a better game. Honestly, Lust from Beyond could have used a mechanic like this instead of the fucking gun you get. But in Sex Please, it doesn't amount to much more than a meandering walking simulator with extra steps. A game like Halls of the Pale Widow does this kind of horror setup way better, nixing the cheap jump scares for compelling gameplay and a procedural world that makes exploration feel both disorienting and meaningful as you try to evade your aggressive and horny spectral stalker. And the sex scenes are just more enjoyable too, a real reward for engaging with the experience that's tied seamlessly into the loop. I think some people will say, well, you know, this is a horror game specifically focused on body horror, so of course it's going to have all this weird, grotesque stuff, and it's actually pretty brave of them to put this sort of really upsetting stuff on the screen. That just sort of defeats the purpose of what horror is supposed to be. I think really good horror is supposed to elicit feelings of empathy or feelings of dread in a way that says something about the human condition. Just having depraved shit be shown for the sake of depraved shit, and knowing that you're actually supposed to get off on this. Horror isn't just supposed to be, hey, what's the most fucked up thing I can think about? Let me just put that on the screen. Like if I wanted to make a horror film about a school shooting, I wouldn't go into extreme detail showing children being murdered. There's a level of tact and tastefulness you would apply to the situation in order to get a certain point or thematic or emotional experience across, not just, you know, revel in the destruction and horror of it all. It's not just supposed to be this masturbatory experience dressed up as body horror for the sake of gratuitousness and excess and the glorification of violence. I'm sure Sex Please thinks it's saying something, but it's the equivalent of saying I'm going to commit a heinous crime and film it in order to raise awareness about heinous crime. Maybe it really just thinks it's funny?
You horned motherfucker! I'm dead! I'm dead from a mixer in my ass! I died from my ass getting destroyed! What the fuck do I need money for? I died from a mixer in my ass! And I've also killed my gran in my rage!
But it's not. It's vapid and collapsing under its own self-applied excess through and through. This developer has always been pretentious, like I mentioned, with long amateur philosophical screeds elongating the conversations of sex with the devil or peppering the ambient dialogue of sex chess, but this was just another level of ego-driven slop. And I think it's a low bar for this developer and sex games as a whole. Plays into almost every stereotype a Christian fundamentalist zealot might have of horny people. I'm sorry, Sex Please, for shitting on you so powerfully. So I've retroactively lost faith in this developer since the release of Sex Please, and now after playing through Sex with the Devil again, it's really stained what I thought were good aspects about that game. The graphical and animation chops are there for the most part, but the vision is either bland or thoroughly misguided. Sex Chess, as a sort of spiritual successor to the Love Chess series, brings what you would expect: better graphics, nicer looking sex, prettier environments, and voice acting, and well, that's kind of it. See, why is there no animation for checks? Why is there no animation for checkmates? Why is there no, like, I would love to see like a hidden animation for like an en passant or whatever. They didn't have en passant in this game when it first came out. They had to add an update, I remember specifically. Now, one big disclaimer, maybe you can hold this against me, but for the life of me, I couldn't figure out where the game save is located. And I can't really remember if the game had a real story, but if it did, it seems like playing through each level with the chapter select screen causes story cutscenes to not play after winning a game. And apparently I can't just play the game from a different Steam account without buying it again, so fuck it. I guess we won't be able to witness the Oscar award-winning epic that is Sex Chess.
Yes.
I'm find it.
Gameplay-wise, the only big difference is that this game allows the use of magic to spice up the experience. Pieces can be duplicated or frozen or eliminated entirely or what have you, and the game's chess engine is simply not as smart or annoying as the Love Chess games. The knight just goes back. Oh no, they can just take this pawn for free. Uh-oh. Wait, now my rook is frozen.
I still don't believe it. There is really too much evil here.
Well, that was just a dumb move, though. I hung that pawn completely. If they just took it, I would have been screwed. Took it, and it's a fork. Like, that was just a hanging pawn. They could have taken it with a fork, gotten my rook off the board. That would have been so devastating. I would have absolutely lost this. What? He gets another rook? Okay, he's wiling out right now. He's actually wiling out right now. He gets 3 rooks, dude. Look at his board. This is crazy. I need to get rid of this pawn. which I can't. I just can't do that. I guess the good news is he seems so hyper-focused on using spells that he's not actually playing the game. So all these aspects make Sex Chess a much more comfy game than its spiritual predecessors. But beyond all that, it's still just love chess. We're going for Wayward Queen. That's a free rook. That's a free rook, but let's chase the queen around, I guess. Queen here, knight here. Okay, what? What is happening? Oh. Wait, you can do that? This is, looks like a glitch. Looks like a bit of a glitch. There's a whole other thing going on here. I like how selfless the queen is. She's very giving. Wait, but why would, oh man. Yeah, okay, so she does get destroyed. She can still destroy my rook though? I straight up didn't see that. I wasn't paying attention to that diagonal. That was just a blunder. But I was also under the impression that that was like a block. And it is. So she just lost the queen, but also destroyed my rook. So I came out good on that exchange. One strength of Sex Chess is that it, unlike most of these games, doesn't shy away from gay male experiences. Many of these games are catered to heterosexual male audiences, or at least male audiences who think they're heterosexual. So there's a very tangible aversion to depicting graphic sex between two men in these experiences. That said, while I wish the focus wasn't so much on the grotesque, like what the fuck happened to this dude's anus, I do like that there is gay male sex depicted in this game. It falls into the same trap where I end up wanting to skip the sex out of boredom because, for better or worse, the chess is the main draw of the experience. Rook here, check, king here. Bishop here, check. King here. Knight here, mate. Which is the fancier one? Oh no, knight here is not. No, it is, because the pawn is blocking. Or I can even go knight here. Doesn't matter. This is, yeah. I feel like mate with a knight is pretty cool. If I go here, check, king here, pawn here, is that mate? Play this again. So I guess I could just skip these ones if I already know what I'm gonna get. Check here, king here, pawn here, checkmate. Yeah, that's a fun checkmate. That's a fun checkmate. What's nice is that there's a gallery in this game. Sex scenes are piece-specific, but vary based on which side initiates the encounter. In the gallery, you can watch any sex scene you've already seen, or use cheats to unlock them all at once. And that's all well and good, but it doesn't fix the core problem. The sexual aspects and the chess aspects are in contrast with one another, and one definitely wins out. And there are still no special animations or sexual rewards in the form of big sex scenes for winning. I kind of wish the sex were like more, I wish there were more of a narrative to the sex, I guess, because this is nice having these little scenes here. But I would rather have, I think, shorter like one-shot scenes for the captures, and then like more elongated scenes for like a general narrative revolving the chess. I like the idea of the devils versus the angels. But it's also detached from like anything else, I feel like. Games like Subverse show how a well-made sex game can have deep underlying gameplay, mechanics, or a story which naturally embeds the sex into part of the experience. For what I've played of it pre-release, its different elements can feel divorced from one another, but the story and characters and life on the spaceship feel genuine and compelling enough to make the sexual minigame feel rewarding in its own right.
Oh yes, the captain loves money and narcotics, especially narcotics.
And trust me, I'll be plenty busy keeping the Imperium off your backs. However, should any of you be caught, or worse, during your mission, I will disavow all knowledge of this bullshit. So long!
A game like Orc Massage more integrally ties sex into its core loop. Its use of massages as a mechanic serves as foreplay with a decent amount of challenge. Its reward is a drip feed of nudity and sensual poses until you get to the climax, a full-blown sex scene. The only issue with this is that the game in its unfinished state, only has so many minigames to connect all its experiences, so it can quickly get repetitive. But the sex looks so good, the main loop is arousing enough, and Orc Massage overall seems committed to the art of it all, so I don't doubt the developers are going to do their best to make each facet of their game feel worthwhile. I might have said the same for Evil Boobs Cult after Sex with the Devil or Sex Chest, but after a horrid experience like Sex Please, and honestly after replaying Sex with the Devil again, I just don't know if the developer has the right goals in mind. Before I go, there's one last game I thought it appropriate to mention. The Virtual Encyclopedia of Sex is a sex game developed by Artmunk, the developers of Love Chess, in partnership with a company called Playgirl. It uses knowledge from real-world sexologists to create a 3D compendium of sex positions couples can use to spice up their sex lives. I'd never heard of this game before making this video and only found out about it by happenstance. It's so old I could only find it on third-party sites, and honestly, that's a shame because I feel like this thing is pretty good.
For this one, you'll need the strength of Xena and more than a sprinkle of stamina. He's standing, knees slightly bent, and her legs are slightly open and wrapped around his torso. Her back's literally to the wall here. His hands will most likely be gripping her thighs, but he may be able to press one or both of them against the wall, depending on her weight, strength, and positioning.
Look, sex is hard. It's very physically demanding. It can be hard to get the proper angles for good friction, balance, and breathing control and stimulation. There are a million ways it can go wrong, and there are so many small and large things you can change to give better pleasure or better manage stamina or just boost intimacy and connection between partners. So having a tool like this is just good. Sure, it's pornographic, but it's not indulgent or gratuitous, and this game, coming out in 2009, apparently has the best graphics and art design of any of the Artmunk games. It's got lengthy descriptions and trivia for the different sex positions, things that are good and bad about them, ease and difficulty ratings. I find uncommon sex to be somewhat impractical, especially if you don't have a long-term partner to really trial and error this stuff with. Bodies and desires change so quickly and so often that to try these, you really need to know the body and mind of the person you're with and have trust and fun when things don't work out. But I think this would just be a fun tool for longer-term couples who want to spice up a romantic night every now and then. There's even a character creator. It has a bit of what I like to coin latent homophobia, which is where these games try to be really sexy and risque, but always end up having severely limited customization options for men, as if caring too much about the male form makes you gay or something, and that's somehow a bad thing. You see it in like the hentai games from Illusion Softworks, where even with mods, it can feel like the game's just constantly asking, okay, are you done here? When you spend too much time looking through the options for men. I mean, like, come on, this is all just the same guy. This is just the same guy. I also can't make him black or anything, just various degrees of tan or old. Speaking of illusion games, I've wanted to make my own fantasy sex RPG, and I had to get real creative about certain positions. I used the Creation Studio for Honey Select 2 to pose and position characters. I wanted to make sure I still accounted for balance and angles, even though these positions aren't normal and the characters would be fairly unrealistically athletic and use magic and stuff. And I really like what I came up with for a lot of these. They feel sexy and wild, but also not so out there that it pulls you from the experience like a lot of porn games and films tend to do. But this is just me jacking myself off to a game I haven't even made yet, and I don't know how to. So yeah, I hope in the future we see more games like the Virtual Encyclopedia, maybe with even more out there positions and stuff for gay men and for lesbians and even groups of partners. With better graphics and the right amount of care, maybe a really low price point, I think this can be a useful tool for educating couples about ways to feel sexier and be more intimate with one another. So that's the saga of sex and chess done and dusted. Never play Sex Please, by the way. Honestly, probably don't even touch Sex with the Devil. Just steer clear. Like, genuinely, they're gross as hell and I hate it. I think as game lovers and sex lovers, we can do so much better. Thanks for watching, everyone. Remember to always get enthusiastic consent from anyone you're with, be safe, use protection, and have open communication, and honor the human being and the person who is sharing their body with you. Take care.